real Hebrew Israelites come in weekend, week out, day in, day out, to prophesy the downfall, destruction of America, also known as America, Salaki, also known as Babylon, according to the Holy Scripture. Before we get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Love honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Rule Well, Shalom, Mother Salah, Bakir, peace and mercy to the elect, your brothers from the GMS Cleveland Church, back in the spirit. Prophesy downfall, destruction of this place. We're going in this lesson today. Babylon is being shaken up. You know, we're going to get some precepts and some articles filtered through the scriptures. Y'all right side is a edifying lesson. So go ahead, brother one.
This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Right, so shameful spewing is being on Babylon the Great, which is America, in the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay, we recently had a big meeting at the UN, right? And it was all about Israel and America, man, especially Israel. The situation that's happening over there in Gaza, that's all they kept talking about, man. They saying, listen, what you're doing is not right, man. Okay, Israel, you need to chill out. All right, they saying the JOOs, all right, they're breaking international law. All right, by doing this, they're starving on people out, and you blocking the roads off and stuff like that, not letting the aid get through. They said, no, man, that shit ain't right. And the fact that this guy Benjamin Netanyahu, he's saying, listen, man, we not recognizing Palestine as a state, man, and y'all both got what you call them? Y'all both fighting over that region, stuff like that, man. But y'all supposed to be sharing it, all right? They wanted the term used, two-part state, some shit like that. But the fact that you're not following the rules, all these other nations, European nations and stuff like that, China, Russia, okay, they all getting on your ass, man. All right, South Africa, all right, they all saying, like, listen, man, you fucking evil, man. You wicked, man. Basically, you know what I'm saying? And the new boogie man is you now. Okay, you the new boogie man. You're terrorizing people and stuff like that, and they're saying you starting the shit, man. You don't want the conflict to end. Basically, that's what they're saying. So now spotlight's on you, small heads, man. And this is just beginning. They ain't done with you, man. Get that second scripture out.
It's Luke 10 and 18. Says, he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
Right, and Yahushua, those his words. He said, I beheld Satan fall as lightning. And that's right, man. And Satan is you Edomites, man. You're falling. You're losing the world as far as your rulership is concerned. Every day that goes past now, that's why shit's moving so quick. Every day that goes past now from here on out is a you losing your us transferring from our own, from you losing your own kingdom and us getting the power, basically, man. Okay, you losing Esau, man, and you don't know how to take it. All right, you being a sore loser about this shit. Okay, you had your time to rule, you had your purpose, but now the curtain's closing, man. You know what I'm saying? You had your final call. Get the third scripture again.
Obadiah. Yeah. This is Obadiah, which the footnote says Edom will be humble. It says the vision of Obadiah 1:1, Salakia. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Keep going.
Well, an ambassador is a messenger, similar to that of an angel, and they come, usually they have a mission, a voyage, so to speak, and they come with a message unto Edom. This is the message. It says, verse 2, behold, I have made these small.
Yeah, you like the people. Gamal, that's the president of Egypt. Gamal, whatever the nigga name is. I ain't really Nasser, you know what I'm saying? Gamal Nasser, Abdul Nasser, you know what I'm saying? One of them Ishmaelite, motherfucking Elamite gentleman, you know what I'm saying? He was an ambassador. Like an ambassador is a herald. They carry messages for the king. So he was telling you niggas back then, beware the beast man. He just spit his stuff in scroll, man. He whipped it out. You know what I'm saying? He said, hold on, I don't know who you niggas is. Y'all left Browns, came back looking another way.
Right.
That was about that. You know what I'm saying? That's what that was the message that he was carrying to the nations. It was like, I believe it was like some type of UN address or one of them
He's the
situations.
president of Egypt.
Yeah, the president of Egypt. Yeah, it was like a UN address, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the message that he was heralding. You ain't the people, nigga. You hold on. Who are you? You left black and you came back white. He said, I don't know who you is. And when you listen to that statement that he made, he was like, he said something, bro. I'm gonna look it up. If it's even on YouTube anymore. Y'all go ahead.
Respect Israel as a state.
Okay, con. Go ahead.
It's the book of Joel.
Obadiah 1 and 2, it says, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Yeah, so like it says in the NLT, the words are different. The Lord says to Edom, I will cut you down to size among the nations. You will be greatly despised. And right now, you know, especially the small hats, you know, Amalek, they're being despised, man. You know, and right now they got a spotlight on them. Okay, you know, no one really wants to speak on it and call it what it is. But the reality is, you know, like you said, like the brother was going into, he about to pull up the quote, all right, that they're not the people. Okay, all the signs point to that, you know, that statement, the controversy of Zion.
Yeah, the fact that these small hats, they're putting America in a position of difficulty, man, because they on September 9th they did an attack on Qatar, all right, and they supposedly they did that attack because they were searching out Hamas, all right, and preventing them to do another T attack, right, on them. So they basically keep jumping the gun, man, and making these dumbass decisions, and then America got to jump in and be the rest because they can't make no moves without Babylon the Great. That's why I said Lisa Fox should have drawn them out. So we see the picture lining up where this Third World War, how it's gonna happen with these damn small hats, man. Okay, they just keep jumping ship, all right, and trying to take everybody with them, man. I.e. America. Okay, so yeah, man, this shit about to be on the popping, man. Okay, this shit about to be on the popping. You get some more that was added.
I mean, that was the main point, but I can keep reading, you know.
No, I was sitting on that then. Jump to the scripture, you know, brother chime in. You got that. Let's take that. I know you said you had some too. It's like,
Yeah, I got what you quoted.
you go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 45. It says, Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that ye have taken against Babylon.
Oh yeah, so like before it slipped my mind. Like I said, Babylon is losing allies over this motherfucking Israel, man. Okay, they losing allies over them, man. All right, everybody's condemned Israel at the United Nations meeting, man. Okay, and they're saying, listen, if they're saying U.S., if you don't check Israel, then it's gonna be a problem, man. All right. Oh, go ahead.
It's Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right, and that's going into how America going to be destroyed, right? Because desolation goes into like a desert. That backs up, that's what Isaiah 13 too as well. All right, so what's going to make this place a desert? The nuclear missile fire. You know, so Israel going to be struck as well as America. You know, with those nukes.
Did you break down the part about the least of the flock?
I don't know. Yeah, the least of the flock is referring to those small heads, you know. And right now, I believe Elder Yashawamba brought it out a minute ago how their goal is to try to say that they're the people to conquer that land.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
and really the Lord said he gonna give us back that land.
Right.
It shows that's the contrary. So that's just their motive to, you know, bring in that war.
Yeah, they've been going into the scriptures.
Yeah.
And using it as justification, even to the point of like the red heifer. You know, when you go into the scriptures, there's a particular offering or oblation that we would sacrifice it to the Heavenly Father, and you know, a red heifer. I forget, I ain't go over it, you know what I'm saying, but it's literally in the scriptures. You know, going to that is like a cleansing. That's what the heifer was like, it's like an atonement, if you will. You know what I'm saying, for sins or whatever. But look, well, pursuant to the scriptures, the Lord said, "You found no place of repentance." Though He sought it carefully with tears, so you can get the red heifer, you can get a gold heifer, and I'm being facetious when I said gold heifer. You can get a blue heifer and sacrifice that motherfucker. It don't matter what you do at the end of the day, because you know what I'm saying. Scripture talk about a spiritual temple, a spiritual house. If you paraphrase it. So it don't matter if you do these different. You get your acquire these beasts because now it's coming to me with the red heifer. It was a bull or a cow that you ain't no yoke came upon it. You know what I'm saying? And then you offered it unto the Heavenly Father. That's part of it. You know, so they, you know, go ahead.
You know, we brought that out just to show you how, you know, that's their mindset. Their mindset is to get back the land that they believe that belonged to them, but it's just an illusion to cause the World War III.
Those scriptures. Good. Scriptures go back, I think it's something like, you know, land shall be given to the Gentiles until the time the Gentiles shall be fulfilled. So I always taught for the Gentiles to be fulfilled. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that follow. All these different kingdoms had their times going back to the time of Daniel. I mean, it's the second chapter and the second chapter.
And we said here, you shall draw them out. The them is referring to, you know, the enemies of Babylon, which would be, you know, Russia, Iran, you know, their allies too as well. So that's the them that it's speaking about. You know, that's what's going to cause the World War III. The Lord is putting a hook in Russia's jaws to, you know, cause that war to happen. You know.
Also, America may draw them out
Yeah.
to the Gulf War, but you can apply that too, bro.
Ultimately, Bible prophecy, which the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2, I will gather all nations, and I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel.
Oh, you read that in NLT, my friend.
Yeah. It says, Joel 3 and 2 in the NLT, I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land.
Yeah, like I say, because it's known history now that those small hats, they funded a lot of the ships for the slave trade. You know, so they played a big part in the downfall of these so-called niggas like the Americans, the Israelites.
Yeah. Well, listen, Obadiah, we reading. We say those of you that stood in the way, roughly paraphrasing.
Raise it.
Yeah, that's a song. Raise, destroy. They want to see you niggas destroyed. And that's what our people don't, they haven't come to that realization. You know what I'm saying? That this nigga's your enemy. Charleston White told you that in a 2-hour goddamn Say Cheese video that the brothers is circulating around him. Even though that nigga Charleston White, he be on some, he's just a nigga. But, you know, even though, what is it, a broken clock was right twice a day or some shit like that. So he was right on all the points that he was making about this devil. Even with the little investigation with the artist David, you know, the little young Dick. And, you know what I'm saying? He was on point with that shit. You know, that's why I sent the meme, I meant the emoji with the plate and the forks. Because we eat with this, because the Lord put the spirit on these individuals to say the things that they saying, man. That the Lord said, who shall rouse them up? So the Lord gonna rouse up niggas. He gonna use jakes like Charleston White to rouse niggas up. He was going in about how he was ready to die. He was ready to go. He said, I would walk the police. And that's why Charleston White, you know, even though he talked about us, Lord willing, he come to the realization, nigga, we really like that too. We ain't willing to be corner with it. But Charleston White, he even got the marketing, the clothing line with the thing said, I think everybody playing. That's why he said that, you know what I'm saying? That's one of his slogans and one of his sayings. I think everybody playing, because he was talking about it on that Say Cheese video about how niggas was in the Fort Worth Police Department, which they say the Los Angeles Sheriff Department is the biggest gang in America. So what you think of these other fucking counties and municipalities? You said they never had a civil rights movement in Fort Worth. So that should tell you every fucking thing you know about Fort Worth, Texas, and how them niggas feel about them Jakes, you know? But he was going in, bro. He was going out. I watched the whole video. I was breaking and cleaning up, breaking up fucking leaves and shit, cleaning up, you know, fixing the motorcycle and shit, you know what I'm saying? I was listening to the whole thing. That nigga was in the spirit, man.
One of the points he made, he's somebody like niggas not ready to die.
Yeah. Yeah, niggas ain't, and that's one thing that he commended, Captain Kirk for, you know what I'm saying? You know, Charlie Brown, he commended him, you know what I'm saying, for the fact that he did, that nigga died for what he believed in. That nigga, you know, his rhetoric that he was coming with, it was a red supremacist rhetoric, nigga, not white. It was a red, cause ain't no white folks, man. It was a red supremacist rhetoric, man. And he believed in that shit wholeheartedly, you know?
If I can make one point too about that lesson that I shot put in the chat, brother, somebody watched it. He was talking about the drugs and shit. Man, he talking about he got locked him up and this and the third.
Oh yeah, he was talking about the HIPAA and all, bro. He was going in, bro. You know what I'm saying? That shit speak volumes, bro. You know, it was, bro. That was essential information that the Lord. Cause Charles White, even though people think he just a dumb nigga, he really smart. He ain't a dumb nigga like that. That's why he came into the industry like he did. You know the what you call that shit? The social media industry, man. You know, he came in like he did. That nigga's not dumb, man. That nigga smart. I was just thinking, bro, only if this nigga do the scriptures and he believed in the scriptures, he'll be, he wouldn't even be in the position that he in right now. Cause the thing about Charles White, even though we give him his props, that's up to you, nigga. But the apostles and the elders, the brothers, the elder bishops, Connecticut, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, they been talking about that shit. Charles White was talking about when Charles White was a little child type of shit. They been talking about that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, so. But the thing about it is with the apostles and the elders, they men of the Lord. So they couple the scriptures with it. And they give you they give you clarity on what's really going on. Cause okay, you say, cause the nigga Charles, cause I gotta say this, you double-minded. Here it is, you talk about them, but you want rights and you believe in the Constitution. Nigga, the white man could, see that's what we you know what I'm saying? That's what we come in controversially and boldly. Nigga, hold on. But the white man, he wrote the Constitution, nigga. You was still a goddamn slave, nigga, when they had the Constitution. We went into it with the first Constitution. We know about this shit now. You know what I'm saying? We know about this shit. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, going back to that scripture though, where Lord said the valley of Jehoshaphat, where he's gonna gather all these nations, it's happening in the process of all this back and forth, or America burning bridges basically with these other nations because of all the bad behavior that Israel's doing. Okay, they so heavily tied to Israel. It's like whatever they do, you know what I'm saying? America's gonna automatically take the blame. And
go ahead. I got a precept when you're done.
Oh yeah, So yeah, this place is crumbling, man. All right, these American people, man, they going outside and like. Every day, man, they complain how bad things are doing in this bad economy that we got going, man. All right, the fact that that the youth, okay, the youth is having a hard time. You know, this generation's coming up, they're having a hard time finding jobs.
Getting homes.
Yeah, getting homes and stuff like that. Like they basically can't do nothing that they were taught by their parents. Buy a house, chase the American dream, get a wife. Hell, people can't even be in relationships no more because they can't afford to have children, or, you know what I'm saying, just the basic necessities, man. Like, it's looking so terrible. I think it's one dude named Cashmere Jordan. He do like reports and stuff like that on YouTube. But he's the most pathetic looking now, man, because you living in small ass houses, worse than Jake, man, up there in New York. It's like a goddamn prison cell and shit like that. And you spending overly priced for that little box. I can't even call it an apartment. It's a fucking shoe, man. Like in prison. Like this shit is you done, man. You are done, man. Like it ain't gonna get no better for you. Okay. Live out your last little moments like walking around free and shit like that. Cause we coming, man. We coming for that ass, bro.
I got something to get to the point to where you even got Jakes telling Esau, man, quit fucking complaining, man.
Yeah, that's why you had that doctor. What's her name? Was Dr. Jacqueline Badalora. Malcolm brought her out about the book that she read about you goddamn crackers, right? Fragility. And even Charleston White was saying that because, you know, all the different platforms that he was going on, all the comedy clubs that was managed by white Edomites and owned by Edomites, where he was talking about niggas and George Floyd, and he was a crackhead and a dope fiend and all that. They was praising him and you know what I'm saying, the summa cum laude. They was giving the niggas the highest praise. And he was like, I'm gonna see if the white folks can take it. That's why he even mentioned the nigga, the Kirk guy. He said he didn't even know who the nigga was for real. You know what I'm saying? He started mentioning them, and that's how you probably got something right quick. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 11. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave. That's it, man. So all that pride that you devils, you know, you exuded, that's why you won't make America great again. They walk around with pride, say, boy, who you looking at, boy? That was that pride, you know what I'm saying? That was that ruling class mentality that they had at one point in time. Boy, did I catch you looking at Elizabeth? You know? Like real talk.
Well, the Edomites, they like, I'm talking about not just the elites, I'm talking about average everyday Edomites. They ain't got that pride like they used to.
Exactly.
They saying they can't afford it, man.
Yeah, now they want to come together. It's a
Deep state.
Yeah, it's an us thing, right? It's an us thing, you know, us against them. Now they want to come together with Jay, and it is an us against them thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but in actuality, no, man. It's a us against you because you really a part of them. Now that you not reaping the benefits of this white privilege, this YT privilege that you motherfuckers been possessing since the inception of this country. Go ahead.
Well, the fact that Jake can take your woman, alright, and he can talk all this shit. The Edomite man, he has to watch his mouth in his own kingdom, man, because everybody can say, basically like stuff that's considered racism, like Jake. Like they can say something that's like geared towards some racist shit, but Esau can't do that. He has to watch his fucking mouth actually now, man.
He can't
Otherwise,
call a nigga outright.
Yeah, because everybody gonna get on his ass like you don't have the right to be, you know, racist such and such based on the history and all that stuff. They gonna go back at him with that, man. Mm-hmm. So this man, he's lost power, man. He's losing it.
That's that shameful spewing. You know what I'm saying? That shameful spewing for the violence against our brother Jacob. Shame your company, so that's what people throw in your fucking face. You the problem.
Yeah.
They got the goddamn statistician with the stats. He got the statistics, loading them bitches up, putting them up online, and talk about how you lead in the different sectors and categories of these violent fucking crimes. Yeah, it's great and goddamn kidnapping and the violent crimes and the shootings and school shootings and just shootings in general. They said this nigga lead by a mile in those different categories, man. You know, they said people throwing that shit in their fucking face. The nigga, what's the nigga name? The goddamn, the homo nigga, Don Lemon. You know, that anchor, that news anchor, he said the right problem is white America. In America is white men. That's what he said, that the main problem is, bro. So the Lord really fucking just putting you motherfuckers under a microscope and having everybody look at this shit. Come here, check this out. Cause they got that with the scripture talking about it. That's what our people say. They say, come together, come see what the word of the Lord is. So the Lord said, yeah, he said with the balance is, look at these motherfuckers going too. We gotta put the microscope on these niggas too and show you what the fuck they doing, man. The Heavenly Father is, man. You know, yeah.
This is
You got it, Aisha.
I want to bring up definition because we had read Obadiah 1 and 2, and then he said, thou art greatly despised.
Yeah.
Everything that brother's mentioning is showing that he is exactly that, despised. And when you go into the word despised, all right, bazar in the Hebrew 959, to despise, hold in contempt or disdain. It says to be despicable, to be vile or worthless. And that's how the Lord is really viewing this Edomite man, you know. as if he's worthless and he really just don't serve a purpose other than like Revelation 6:4 say, to take peace from the earth. You know, the world would be a happier place without your existence. You see? And one of the things that Charleston White was saying in the interview on Say Cheese, the most recent one I uploaded, was that you know, he was saying that you know, these Edomites really saying it was tip of my tongue. Lord, when they come back to me, man. But going into them being like vile, worthless, and despised, you know, this world pretty much would be better off without you, man.
Hey, I'd like to chime in real quick, and that back to the Deuteronomy 30:7. All the curses shall go upon them, the same way we was despised and looked upon as negatives and problems of the earth. Everybody really sees Esau as the devil now. He was.
No, it's out.
This is going to the word contempt. It says late 14th century. It says open disregard or disobedience of authority and or the law. It says the general sense of act of despising, scorn for what is mean, vile, or worthless. Okay, and this Edomite man, you know, he's the epitome of being vile and worthless. That's why, you know, his latter end is to be done away. Okay, oh, that's what he was saying. He was saying that pretty much these Edomites, they mentioned black fatigue and this, that, and the other, but really they live in fear. You know, they live in fear of the world pretty much getting retribution and or vengeance upon them for all that they dished out and done to others. You know, primarily us, all right, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native and Seminole Indians, but also these other nations, man. And so they live in fear that one day, you know, the world is gonna rise up against them. And they're literally seeing that right now.
The fact that when France, when the African states cut, like Niger, they cut them France off from the resources. They saying like, listen, this fucking colonizer, we don't need him no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You've been robbing us all this time, so we gonna do our own thing. We gonna prop our own economy up. You know what I'm saying? And they saying that they well off without you. Now you gonna blackball them, saying you basically gonna try to cut the African nations off. But point being is like you were saying, right, man, the world's a better place out here, and everybody's finding it out. That's why Mexico said, "Gringo, go home."
Yeah.
Gringos, get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah, they said that there was a lot of Edomites going to Mexico to try to retire and or find living that's cheaper than the U.S. You know, and like you said, they're trying to set up shop there and bring, you know, that democracy, so to speak, and that mentality down to Mexico. But you got videos online of them swarming by the hundreds, you know, pretty much like you said, telling the Gringos to go home.
You got that conquering spirit, since death, never had enough. It's just oppress and oppress and oppress. That's what they was made for, man. The soul that is in you is not upright in you. He was made to be built with you.
Yeah, that's the spirit, because Charleston White mentioned that too in that video, how they return it back to that state. Like he had said something like they return it back to that hatred. You know what I'm saying? That's the scriptures. You know, they were putting that, because brother was talking about the Ezekiel putting the hooks in, he's turning their mind and back to that, the biblical Edomite that we know him to be, you know.
Cause you know if you have a short time,
Yeah.
so you gotta come down with the main motherfucking problem.
Yeah, he was mentioning how when we call him Captain Kirk was unalive, you know, Esau out of anger and frustration went and hung, you know, Jake.
Oh yeah.
You know, at the HBCU. You know, but Jake didn't, you know, pull the trigger.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he didn't pull the trigger. It was white on white crime.
Right.
That's not really spoken on as much, you know. But like you said, they can't look at themselves in the mirror and hold themselves accountable.
Right.
They gotta find some other culprit to be the issue, man. You know, and so here it is, allegedly
Scapegoat.
yeah, scapegoat. Here it is, two other Jake individuals that was in college got lynched in Mississippi right after that situation, but they had nothing to do with it, man.
And like I said, they don't hold themselves accountable. The sheriff said it was a suicide. Like, what the fuck?
But yeah, that was lying on the police report too. Saying he was found in the dorm, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So
I got one back up with you, what Irish Sergeant said. It says Isaiah chapter 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that's what these Edomites was afraid of. Like you said, they've been dealing treacherously in the earth. They've been raped, robbing, and murdering. You know, country on top of country. It says that also in Habakkuk the 2nd chapter. It said they shall take up a taunting proverb against thee, man. You know what I'm saying? So now you paranoid that all that's gonna come back on you, which it is gonna come back on you. Because you know the Heavenly Father is a just power. You know, the brothers and the elders out there prophesying of the Most High's vengeance, man, and payback upon Edom.
Way, because the scripture say this Sirach chapter 10 verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got like the sea, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right. I was thinking of that chapter because it also says in that chapter the physician cut up our own disease. And that's you Edomite, because the world would be a better place without you, man. You know, and everybody's gonna, before Yahushua returns, everybody's gonna realize that.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna make these kings push the
Yeah.
button.
And like that nigga, what's his name? That nigga Alonzo told that nigga Jake Hoyt in the trade day. He said, Roger sold dope to kids.
Yeah.
He said the world is a better place without him. That's what the nigga said about the nigga Roger. He said, Roger, though I seen this cocksucker operate with impunity for 20 years and now I got him. Bro, that's a spiritual part right there, bro. He said the world is a better place without him, bro. That's real, you know?
These damn Edomites, like I said, they Esau versus Esau, that's gonna be the real thing, man. Because there's like I said, the shootings and shit like that. And now Trump, all these Edomites, they cussing Trump out because they had to shut their businesses down. The ones that still got their mom and pop business, they saying how the fucking terrorists affecting them. They can't even order their stuff now because they getting hit with a terrorist bill. The fact that you got even brothers, man, like if y'all order something, be careful because you getting a tariff bill now, man. You got motherfuckers, this Edomite, she ordered like a coffee cup and she got hit with a $40, I think coffee was like $20, and she got hit with a $40 tariff bill. And then it was
a tax. This is tariff bill. It's a tax, basically.
Yeah, come on. And then this shop owner, I forgot exactly what she do, but she ordered like a whole bunch of stuff for a shop, and she got hit with like $1,000, tariff, man.
That's
Just
weird.
because,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Shit crazy, bro.
Well, that's the spirit because I just bought something off of Amazon recently, and I normally buy it. It's normally a certain price, and then when I went to buy it this time, I could only get half of the quantity, and the shipping was $15. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't never had that. The shipping was never that much. It'd be like $4.
That shit crazy,
I want to
man.
bring up this statement, because brothers were speaking about Esau having to pay for all of the things that he's done and dished out in the earth. And he's pretty much running from it. What like scripture called him a vagabond. It goes to a fugitive and a vagabond. It goes to wanderer, okay? And, pretty much a fugitive of justice, man. But that's what it is. Like Elder Thunder mentioned it, he said he finally got him. You see, the Lord is shining the spotlight on this Edomite man. All right, because he's the one that's on trial. All right, we've been judged, still being judged, and have to go through more Jacob's trouble. But this Edomite man is on trial. He's next. Okay, this is a statement by Thomas Jefferson, notes on the state of Virginia. It says, "Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that His justice cannot sleep forever, that considering numbers, nature, and natural means only, a revolution of the wheel of fortune, an exchange of situation is among possible events." Brothers just read Sirach 10 and 8, right? Going into what? The kingdom is translated from one people to another. He just said that nature and natural means only, a revolution of the wheel of fortune. Yeah, you got fortune and you got fortune and misfortune, or unfortunate, okay? All right. Right now we're in a low position. We're in an unfortunate position, so to speak. Not hopefully elect. I'm talking about Israel as a people, collectively. All right. Not having an army, not having a home that we could run to. You know what I'm saying? As far as like a home country, etc. Man. We're behind enemy lines. Right now, this is their heaven, our heaven. Right. It says an exchange of situation is among possible events that it may become probable by supernatural interference. So, he said what? He knows that God is just, and with the Lord being a just power that He is, He's gonna. What does it say in 2 Thessalonians 1:6? right? Yeah, it's a righteous thing with the Most High God,
Mhm.
and recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Mhm.
And so right now, who you mentioned earlier, that
Alonzo. Oh wait.
no, you mentioned about you said don't cry now. Why stop bitching? I think you might have mentioned it. You was like stop complaining.
Jake.
Oh yeah,
Jake
Jake said that
Yeah.
about the Edomites. Yeah.
You know, stop complaining. What you
Yeah,
complaining
yep,
for, man?
yep.
Because he just like his father, man, and he cried there bitterly, man.
Yeah, when you look at the word impunity, because like I was quoting that scene from Training Day, that's a powerful scene, especially in the context of what's being discussed right now, the points that we're making about this motherfucking devil. He said, I watched that cocksucker operate with impunity for over 20 years, and now I got him. When you go into the word impunity, it means exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. You know what I'm saying? So niggas just been just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. You know what I'm saying? He said, I watched that cocksucker operate with impunity for 20 years, and now I got him. We gonna feel like Denzel in that when the Lord come back and put this nigga in shackles and manacles, man. You know what I'm saying? You know?
And this is just the beginning for you Edomites, man. We see, through your forefather Esau, your daddy Esau, progenitor of you, all right, that he's an impatient man, all right? These Edomites, they just getting licks from the Heavenly Father, man. You know what I'm saying? They can still afford, things that Jake can't afford. That Jake will have to fucking save up for like a month or some shit like that. They still got it like that a little bit, but it's just they don't have it full like they used to. You know what I'm saying? As far as expenses, as far as doing shit, you know what I'm saying? They feeling more and more like a nigga. All right.
That's the curses that's falling upon him that the brother was holding that Deuteronomy 30 and 7. That's what he's experiencing. He's experiencing these curses that's upon us befalling himself, man.
And that's gonna be a problem, cause the white man he ain't living like no nigga. I remember the Apostle Tahari mentioning something about, you know what I'm saying, how they might, I ain't living like no nigga. That's when they gonna rise up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's when they gonna take up arms. You know?
Even these country Edomites, bro, they be country as fuck, dirty as fuck. I work with some, they rarely shower. But these niggas be rolling in brand new Dodge Ram F1s. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck is this money?
Yeah, what?
Like, that's that generational wealth from that 350 years of straight up 300% profit.
Yeah,
man.
and I looked that up, as the spirit earlier this week, how I looked up redlining on ChatGPT. I was asking ChatGPT, why are whites more well off? And I asked it, vague question that I already kind of know the answer to, but I want to see if there would be a truth, and they did. They mentioned how redlining allowed home equity. What is home equity? Allows for home ownership. And home ownership allows for you to have businesses that you can pass down to generations that we, so-called minorities, are not typically capable of doing.
Yeah.
Even though they have some that's on the inside that's capable, the vast majority aren't. And then being, they got the HOLC laws, they got the FHA laws, okay, and they got what is it? It's a bill, it's a certain bill that pretty much allowed them to get home loan programs and shit that Jake was barred from, even if they had the credit and or the income.
This was what Charlie Brown wasn't talking about.
Right.
Yeah, this is like, you know what I'm saying, why Jake at the bottom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you, because he was going against this Jake at college, he's like, listen, it's drugs been pushing our community, you know what I'm saying, it's racism, redlining, you mentioned just like you said, and then Charlie Brown said, basically you just pull yourself out of your bootstraps, you know what I'm saying, don't do the drugs if it's been sent to your community, you know what I'm saying, like, you should do better, you know? But come on, bro, he ain't mentioned all that.
Charleston White, and that's his spirit, because he was mentioning the fact about the rhetoric that the dude Charlie Brown and Captain Kirk, the rhetoric that he pushed. You know what I'm saying? The nigga Charleston White was talking about how he opposed niggas and rappers and thugs, niggas that destroy the community and this and that. And the nigga Charlie Brown, Captain Kirk, he didn't go against his own people about they wrongdoing.
No.
And about their illicit activities. And their what the scripture said, quoted it earlier, Sirach the 10th chapter, injuries got by deceit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't mentioning none of that about slavery.
Right.
Talk about, He
Right.
wasn't mentioning none of that shit, man.
I'm gonna say this.
Cause they try to say that the nigga Charleston White and Captain Kirk was the same. They the same type of individuals. Go ahead.
All right, man. Listen, they threw questions at DJ Trump in an interview about white supremacy,
Yeah.
and his ass he was running around it.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
running
okay.
around it, man.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
like that boy Captain Kirk, man.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you can see the little games they play, man. You know what I'm saying? This man, he don't hold himself responsible, man.
Yeah, he don't got no accountability. Just like so-called black woman, Esau don't got no accountability either. Because when he sold his birthright, he said, you know, he tried to blame it all on Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't give it up. Like it wasn't an agreement.
If I could say, the bill I was thinking of is a GI bill going back to 1944. And I really want to employ everyone watching and or brothers in attendance, if you never, you know, looked up redlining on ChatGPT, just give it a quick look, you know, because there's a lot of information in it, and it explains why you have that wealth inequality. They even have maps that show, it's literally called Map Inequality. That's the website. But they even have maps that show where it primarily took place between the 30s and the 60s, but it still has a trickle-down effect even to this very day. So as I'm working and I'm traveling through suburb areas, you know, and I'm seeing, you know, 4 or 5 cars in the driveway while it's working days, working hours. You would think, you know, you'll be at work. You know, they got nice, like you said, new cars. How y'all able to afford this? You
Yeah.
know, they say
Right.
the average Edomite median income is $274,000
Right,
a year.
They take out you know, the equity of their house, so they take a fucking loan out, or you know what I'm saying, you know, a lien on their house, if you will, and then they invest that shit into a rehab, you know, a house, and then they fucking remodel it, rehab it from the fucking floors up, and then they fucking, you know, put it back on the market and turn a profit, and then the 250,000 equity that they took out of their house to use to flip that, to buy all the materials and to pay all the workers to rehab the shit, they recoup that shit. So not only did they get the 250 back in their home equity, but then they got an extra 250 on top of that because the house was worth 500,000 once you renovate it.
Right.
Niggas don't live like that, bro.
You know, they can take the equity from that one.
Bro, it's come on, man.
Thing.
And it's a you know, it's a family affair. Cause a lot of these homes that Jake rent, you know what I'm saying, the Spirit had it where, you know, the house that I rent in particular is a Jake that owned the shit. But the majority of the Jakes, even in this community and other communities, especially where you go outside of when you go outside of the city limits, when you go outside of particular counties and you see niggas out there, those houses that they rented, Edomites own them shits. Small hats, they own them shits, and they rent them out to niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? So you were talking about, because I remember you were telling me that you went over that recently with the red line and shit, and then they'll have a nigga from the rent that they collecting from Jake. Say for instance the rent, they got a house that's $2,500 a month. They taking that shit to pay toward their mortgage, and then they pocketing some of the money. So it's like, bro.
Yeah.
And then you got Jake that's now getting acquainted with real estate, and niggas going into the real estate and flipping houses and rehabbing houses. But look though, the difference is these niggas got a 400-year head start. They 400 years ahead of you, nigga. You can never be able to catch up with them.
The average
Free labor.
Yeah,
Free labor.
The average Jake income they say is around $44,000 annually, whereas Esau is around $274,000. And they said that roughly 75% of them, you know, have.
And that's middle class niggas, bro. That's some niggas that stay close around here. You know what I'm saying? Right up the motherfucker up Cleveland, up the road right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's low level. You know what I'm saying? Bob the Builder Edomites, man. Niggas who work 9 to 5s and shit, bro.
And that allows you to start businesses when you
Yeah.
have that type of income.
Yeah.
You know, you can start businesses and pass those businesses down. You know, Jake inherit debt. When Jake, you know, pretty much is born, you're born in debt. And you don't really often have businesses, houses, or lands, all right, passed into you, man.
poor, straight poverty.
Yeah.
Start off with zero, actually less than zero, like you said.
And they said it wasn't until 1968 that they passed the Fair Housing, Act. But
Right.
this has been going on since the 30s.
That's
And
why-
really
Yeah.
before that.
And they still, even though they passed the Fair Housing Act,
Yeah.
it still ain't fair housing.
It's not.
When you go into the intricacies of that shit, it's still
Right.
it's still predicated and more beneficial to Esau and the other nations.
Yeah.
My niggas, man.
You get a house appraised, if it's Jake doing it, it's usually go for less. When
Yeah.
you have an Edomite step in for you and
Yeah.
take all your pictures down, it usually go for higher.
Yeah, they showed you that in the one movie with Anthony Mackie, where he was a banker.
Yeah.
He bought the bank and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And he was trying to get loans and things of that nature, but they was kept denying him and shit. So what he did, he hired an Edomite to pose as he was the owner of the bank.
Yeah.
And he started getting generate all the income and money and shit like that. God, that's a good movie, right? I think it's called A Banker, right?
I thought the banker.
Yeah, The Banker, bro. I gotta
It's
check
called
that
That's why
movie
that red
out.
line.
Yup,
It's
yup.
called systematic oppression.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole system
Yeah.
that's set up. And that's what you niggas and his so-called niggas like some of them the Americans don't want to acknowledge, man.
That's why Charleston White said so-called blacks can't be technically racist.
Yeah.
He said they could be prejudiced, but they can't be racist because they don't have a system set in place to keep you oppressed.
Right.
You know?
And
He said that, he said that.
it's not just in America, it's the whole earth, right? Because this is a prison planet for you, Jake. If you go to China, you're going to be oppressed. If you go anywhere, you're going to be oppressed because all these nations gather together to make sure you don't exist.
Hey, I was
Can I read
just
the definition?
looking up something on the red line and it go right into
I got it.
what
I got it too.
the elder was saying. It says, long-term consequences. It says racial wealth gap.
There you go.
White families were able to build wealth through their home equity.
If I can say this real quick, right? They built in these suburbs, it literally says this on ChatGPT, a covenant. Meaning what? It's a clause in their contract that we have to keep this entire neighborhood predominantly white. All right, that's a part of the clause. You cannot sell to a non-white. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a part of,
Right, there goes the neighborhood. That's they, and that's why you got something known as white flight.
There you go.
Yep. Because when those Jakes started getting in positions to where they had the opportunity to purchase homes in these different areas throughout the cities and municipalities, man, the Edomites that's why they went to the suburbs. The Edomites used to be all in the city, bro.
There you
But-
go.
but-
That's why you got these big ass houses in the inner city. 'Cause they used to belong to all these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like East Cleveland.
Cleveland was rich.
But it ain't about that no more. It's about the elites now, man. Now that we're switching over to this new world, it's fuck America. It's the new world now, which the elites are the only ones that's going to own shit and be happy. Okay, these smaller Edomites, these peons, man. Okay, they're about to be slaves, debt slaves, and all that. If you're rich, the aristocrats, the rich elites, you ain't even got shit coming, man.
Yeah.
And that's why these Edomites, they can't no longer push that leverage that they had on us this whole time. It's like brothers were bringing out, owning houses, having equity, you know what I'm saying?
Getting loans passed for
Yeah,
you too,
loans.
because Jake get barred. I was about to make that statement about the GI Bill.
Yeah.
Jake came back, Esau, Army vets, they came back from the war and were able to get loans to get houses that Jake was barred from, even though they met the same criteria. You see, they had the credit, they had the income, they served for the country.
Yeah.
But yet they got told, they got denied.
Yeah, and then with loans too, with a bank, they show you in the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey, because he was a loan officer. That's what they known as in the bank. So they the individuals that approve the loans that people come in and try to get, right? So what you do with a bank, all right, you can have an idea, and then you will have a presentation to explain what you're gonna do with the money and this and that. You put it laid out and give them a whole blueprint of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then Esau, they use their discretion, if you will, their experience, and whether the business will be successful. You know what I'm saying? That or whether it wouldn't be successful, and then they'll predicate the loan off of that. But even if niggas have a good idea, they'll give them a loan, bro. They'll steal a nigga idea, go to the bank, to another bank, and present it to an Edomite, and they'll get a fucking loan for it themselves and start up the company, man. You know, it's called a startup fund. That's what these different loans, you know, that these devils use. They call it a startup fund. A lot of these Edomites, they get a $50,000 startup fund, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could just go to the bank, bro, and get a $50,000. The nigga Trump says that gave him a loan, small love of $1 million, dog. Come on, man.
They showed you that in the movie. I mean, that's series that was on Hulu called Them.
Yeah.
The Jakes moved into that suburban Edomite neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? All this shit happened, but it showed you that when they was in the loan office, the systematic oppression. They tried to buy the house.
Yeah, and they show you too in that movie too. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
It show you that they be putting spells on those houses that Jake live in too, and fucking be having demons.
Yeah.
And then that's why they'll sell the house to them,
Right.
cause they know they was doing rituals, killing niggas, well murdering niggas down in the basement. They might have a motherfucking baby fetuses and you know what I'm saying, different shit down in bed. Then they be doing witchcraft and sorcery in the house, and then they'll sell it to these niggas at an inflated price at that too.
Yeah.
Not the fact alone that these niggas doing witchcraft. Like when you watch the movie Sinners, when you went with the nigga, what's the nigga named Michael B. Jordan, we watched the movie Sinners. Remember they bought the motherfucking the bar. They did the juke joint, but then when you go into the plot of the movie, they were showing like it was a slaughterhouse that Edomite used to kill niggas in, man.
Yeah.
And they just sold it to him, and then all those demons, that shit come possessed and everything, man.
Certain houses where, you know, like you said, they got obtained it, and they'll go and pull the carpet up and see pentagrams. Like you said.
Right. Exactly.
Like that being done, man.
Exactly.
Like the same thing that A$AP Rocky stood upon when he was in that little room, man. You know. I do have a precept though, because we stopped at Obadiah 1 and 2. I wanted to hit verse 3. It says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" You know, in this man's heart, his mind, his pride is lifted up high. You see, it's the Lord that's gonna bring you down. Like I was just mentioning, they don't want to live like niggas, man. But the reality is, you're gonna live worse. You know, than how we're living, man. You know, especially when we're in that power seat, man. You see, right now you're being despised. You know, he said, "Shameful spewing is upon thy glory." You know, everything that you do is really brought to the forefront. There was a time when people didn't know who the Illuminati were. You know, there was a time when nobody knew about certain of these so-called upper echelon rich families and what they do. Everything is the information age. Everything is online. Everything. We got a fucking AI, ChatGPT, telling the truth. All right, about what goes on. I was looking it up, man. Yeah, I said about the different degrees that go on within Masonic shit, man. You know, and what you know the whole purpose of it is, and etc. And guess what? It tells you everything in thorough detail. You see? And so the point is, man, it was a time when all of this information was withheld. It was hidden for a period. But now we're in a time again of you being exposed. The light is shining upon you, including your wickedness, man. Isaiah 47 and 3. Would you got it? Isaiah the 47th chapter. Your wickedness is being exposed right now in these times, man. And so the Lord is getting ready to make a move soon, man. All right, go ahead. Yeah, how is what's her name? Judith. Judith Shore, the Council of Atlanta, Israeli. It was in Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah.
And how the hell are so-called black teens, right? Men, boys, the threat of Israel when you got war going on over there? All right, how are we the primary threat over here in the West? Okay,
Right.
Judah Shore, right?
Yeah.
How are we the main threat over here in the West, and you got all-out war going on over there? You know, dealing with the Palestinians, dealing with Hamas, dealing with this and dealing with that, man. You know, but somehow we're the threat. Why?
Right.
Because we speaking the truth, man.
Yeah, just like, and then just, you know, there's that hatred. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you go into it, I believe that's like Genesis 27 chapter. Because even Charles White was talking about that situation with the dude, Charlie Brown, Captain Kirk. He was talking about that. He was like, it ain't a black problem. Black people But yet still, here it is. They throwing Jakes in they throwing niggas into this shit.
Right.
Like as if they the problem. That's what Charles and White was saying. He was saying that shit, bro.
Yep.
You know?
He said he spoke against. He said about Eric Garner. You know, everybody they mocked when he couldn't breathe. Same with George Floyd, put the knee in his neck. All right, they mocked about all these different situations of Jake dying in gruesome fashions. All right, but the moment, you know, this Edomite man is unalived allegedly, you know, and Jake make mockery of him because, you know, they like, I don't know this guy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They don't feel no type of empathy towards him, so to speak. Plus, he spoke against, you know what I'm saying, niggas, man. The moment he dies and they make mockery of him, now they got to stop what they doing and feel some type of empathy and sorrow. And the thing is, Jake don't, man.
I seen on social media, Jake like, hey, yo, fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? They want sympathy from Jake, and that's why they persecuting us. Jake Jake don't care about that.
They don't care.
You know, I got this Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
It's the spirit. I was looking up Genesis 3:14 yesterday about, he said, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and he shall lick up the dust. He's talking about the serpent, man. Esau even represent that serpent, you know, and him going upon his belly. It's him being, you know, it's a similitude. It's not, you know, literal, okay? Because serpents don't eat us. But nonetheless, him being in a low state, and that confusion is that dust, man. So what you just read, Isaiah 47:1, right? You said, can you bring it back to us?
Isaiah chapter 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin
Yeah,
daughter
man,
of Babylon.
you're gonna be brought low. You know, you're gonna be brought very low, and that's what you're seeing firsthand when you go to the store and you spend $120, all right, on groceries, but you only got 2 to 3 meals. All right, this is what we dealing with. I was just experiencing this firsthand. Like, damn, spend a lot of money. You're like, where the fuck is it going? You know, you go get all the ingredients to make just a couple of meals at home, and it's like what you would get, you know, 5 to 10 years ago, it would have been double. Okay.
Like you just quoted Revelations 6th chapter, we talk about the black horse, a measure of wheat, barley for the penny. You know what I'm saying? For the penny and what's the penny and the measure of wheat and barley, and it was something else. It was what the other ingredient
It
was.
was measure wheat and the measure barley, right?
Yeah. Two ingredients that you need to make bread.
Yeah.
Gonna cost a day's worth, which is the minerals. It's gonna cost a day's worth on working with your whole paycheck going, man.
Yeah.
Your whole pay going back in the Roman Empire was a denarius. Your whole denarius is going off that shit, man.
Off of that. So here it is. You got Edomites complaining about this. Not just Esau, the world is too, but you got them being affected in their own economy. Go ahead, huh?
Continuing on, it says,
The very quote is, "I can't afford to live."
Yeah.
You got it.
Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the
You
Chaldeans.
got motherfuckers living out their cars, man. All right, RV camping lifestyle. They can afford an RV. So, hey man, I see it. When you travel, just look around. Sometimes you'll see people with all their belongings, individuals. You know, no tent. You just got hella shit. You know, and they taking it with them. If they car go down, it's a wrap. People are going to the gym just to take showers and you know, get themselves, groom themselves. You see what I'm saying? Whether they choose to work out there or not, they know if I pay $10 a month, I can go take a shower. You know, this is the reality for many people. You know, hey, it's actually wise to have that as a backup, as a contingency plan for the time being until they, you know, cancel that like they did during 2019, 2020. But this is the reality that many people are facing. Homelessness is ever increasing. And then now you got it being a crime, anti-vagrancy laws. Now it's a crime for you to be homeless, being declared by the president. You see, so this is what the world is experiencing. You being brought low, man. Hey, 2 Edges 8 and 50. For many great misery shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And this is the time that the Lord is bringing these miseries, man. Hit that next verse, Bible.
It says,
That's
continuing on, it says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2. Take the millstones and grind the mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, and cover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
exposing. You're being exposed. You're no longer being caught tender and delicate. No one is really looking to America like the founding youth. You know, America's inception, people flocked here. People died trying to get here. You know, even in the latter years too, but I'm speaking mainly about America's inception, about how they dressed it up. You know, this was once paradise, okay? And you can come get rich quick. Gold rush, California gold rush. You know, you can go get money just by going west. You see, that going to the history. We doing, you know, history lessons, Lord willing, Saturday. But when you go into the history, you know, like the gold rush, people got rich just by fucking traveling and settling there. You know, and discovering resources on their land. You see, but now this place isn't looked at in that light.
The terror thing is really the separation from these other nations. They don't want nothing to do with this place, man. As a matter of fact, I've been hearing rumors about how China about to start sending the last shipments here and whatnot. You know, far as the merchandise, the medicines, and all that stuff like that, and like other stuff that you should send over here. They about to stop sending it for good this time, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this bitch coming down to the wire. You saw the ports was empty when they was getting hit with the shit. You know what I'm saying? So the ports really about to be empty now.
I mean, the supply and demand. I mean, whatever's left is gonna go up. The haves and the have-nots. You guys got any precepts?
Last verse, Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
He said, thy nakedness will be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. Shameful spirit upon thy glory. Your shame is being seen. That's why they want to take so-called slavery out of the history books, which not they want to, they done it. All right? And they want to like try to reteach the youth that they were pretty much immigrants that migrated here. But no, we were brought here against our will. You see, we were brought here according to prophecy. You see, that was really the will of the Lord for that to happen. That's what Carlson White was talking about, being in slavery. You know, how it was better off because Jacob was more unified, you know. But, yeah, man, he said that shame shall be seen. All right? So that's what we're seeing right now, man. You're being brought low. Shame is being, you know, brought to the forefront. All right? And there's nothing you can do to try to hide it, man. All right? And it's beautiful times that we're living in because it's happening in our lifetime, okay, that these things are being brought to fruition. You know, Esau being exposed, Jacob's waking up, the end is happening, okay? It's beautiful times, man. Go ahead, John. Whatever you got. Go ahead, that's probably
This is Revelations 11:18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
That's basically what we was talking about. You know, Esau has destroyed the earth, man. There's nothing else left for him to do. You know what I'm saying? That's why Matthew 24 said all humanity would cease to exist if this man reign went surpassed the bounds that it is set. So now we're approaching the times of his end, and like Charleston White said in that video, he hates the fact that he's getting moved out of power, man. That's why he's trying to celebrate it the way he's celebrating and doing the things he's doing it, because he know he's going out the door. You know what I'm saying? So we're getting to the point of where the Lord is getting ready. He said the nations were angry. Like y'all said, man, these people are realizing that this nigga is the devil. Like, you know, it's no going, hey, it's no other way to put it, but this nigga is the devil. Like, what else do we say about this man? But besides being the devil that's being proclaimed that he was all this time. Like, this nigga is actually showing who he is, and all they realizing all the alliances that they got with him, all the treaties and all these different things, bro, is worthless. So we got to get him out the way, or it's gonna be a never-ending cycle, man. You know?
Yeah, they said that one dude said they awoke the beast.
Yeah, exactly.
So and people, you know, because these Edomites, that's why the spirit get on the apostles and the elders. They say, your brothers learn to speak in code, man. Go. You know what I'm saying? The brother, I watched the brother earlier. Don't you just saying the nigga name off on the goddamn thing, bro. Speaking code. Like, learning speaking code. That's what these Edomites do, bro. You feel me? They speak in code, bro. They shouted in secrecy. That's what these Edomites do. So we being on the right hand side, we supposed to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to make a man an offender for a word. That's what these devils do. You know.
If you think about it, even big brother doing this Saturday, he spoke in parables.
Metaphors and parables. Everybody ain't understand what we were talking about. So they don't supposed to be just be able to understand what the fuck we talking about. They supposed to be shrouded in mystery, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you know we at the end.
Right,
Because
right.
the only the know that's in the know can
Right,
pick
yeah.
up what we saying. The code.
Even more.
Even more,
we,
right.
we did at one point in time, you know, the Lord told us to speak plainly and make it
Exactly,
plain
yeah.
upon the table. So
Yeah.
that's a spirit. It's about to change, switch gears, man. You know. So, hey, with every person edifying, we want to give all glory and honor and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Love honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone rule well. Shalom, Salah, Bakir,
On your shoulders, blah, blah, blah. Shalom.